Look into the trusting face of a child. Those silent eyes are really looking for safe guidance through the harsh realities of life, as well as love, affection, wisdom, tolerance, and many other components which build character and help to form the future adult the young one anticipates becoming.
When raising the child, the parent is constantly beset with questions and expected to supply some sort of answer. Naturally, until proven otherwise, the child accepts those answers as complete fact. There is no reason to question a parent's knowledge.
Textbooks, teachers, doctors, clergy are all sources we can draw from for the knowledge we must and are expected to impart to our young people.
Also, add in grandparents, in-laws, neighbors, aunts, uncles, and even complete strangers to the ever-growing list of unbounded information and advice.
We aren't telling you something that you don't already know. Actually, the whole point of this little discussion is to get you thinking. Thinking about how what we say, based on what we know, affects how our children grow.
The parent or guardian who relies on a small amount of fact and what they think they believe to be true when advising a child leaves room for doubt and could lead to serious trouble when the child believes him or herself to be doing the right thing. Oftentimes, it is the pride of the parent which keeps the correct information from reaching the child.
When it comes to riding a bicycle, whether in the street or on a sidewalk, there are rules and regulations any cyclist, regardless of age, are expected to follow. Naturally, when young ones see their parents ignoring stop signs or riding helter-skelter down the road, why should they question it? Aren't parents always right?
We don't mean to infer that parents are lying to their children. Quite the contrary. A parent who doesn't know the rules of the road can't adequately inform their child. Just where is a parent supposed to look for this information? Just what type of information is a parent looking for? Today on Scope, we intend to shed some light on that very question.
Bicycle safety. Who's responsible?
Welcome to Scope.
My name is George Vanasacker, and I'm a member of the Monroe County Cycling. We're putting on a bicycle safety awareness program. Monroe County Cycling has a BEST committee, a bicycle safety education team, and I'm a member or chairman of that particular program. Our program is designed to make kids be aware of different objects that happen on the road, such as cars, looking around fences, being aware that there can be something behind a tree, teaching the skills of riding around obstacles in the road, such as road grates, parked vehicles, any kind of road hazard, cracks in the road, to be able to look over their shoulder and keep control of their bicycle instead of looking over and running in the middle of the road. Monroe County Cycling put this program on to make kids aware, to help things go safer for them.
I'm checking the brakes now, right here. They work fine. All right, tire pressure's kind of low, so I can put the tires up. Checking the stem, make sure it's tight. That's fine. Make sure the seat's tight. That's fine. Everything's fine now, I just want to pump up the tires on here.
What type of hazards is there from riding on underinflated tires, would you say?
Well, you bend your rims up really bad, and you'll have to end up, if you do, you'll end up getting bent up rims, and you have to get a new rim.
Mm-hmm.
Which can cost you up to about $30 for a new rim.
Okay.
You should usually pump your tires up at least once a week, usually, if you ride your bike a lot. Okay, that's all set.
Okay, kids, why don't you get your bikes together here, get on your bikes. This is called Chaotic Corner. This area right here, we have no rules here. First thing we want you to do, we want you to go out in this area here and just ride around any way you want. No rules at all, just have a good time, but don't get hurt. You know, ride slow, don't get hurt, but there's no rules at all. So go on ahead and ride out in this area right here.
Are you going to criticize us?
Huh? Okay, why don't everybody come on back over here? I want to talk to you a little bit.
What, Kevin?
You guys have a lot of fun out there?
Yeah.
Didn't have any rules at all, right?
Nope.
Okay, now what happens if you ride on a street with no rules or anything? What's going to happen to these kids?
Get hit by a
You
car.
got to get hit by a car and get hurt, right? So when we ride out in the street, we got to have some rules. And that's the main reason you're here today. Okay? I want you to do next is, what's your name right here? Kenny? Okay, Kenny. I want you to go out here, and I want everybody to follow Kenny. What Kenny's got to do, he's got to go out here. You got to ride around in a nice circle. And everybody's got to follow Kenny, all right? That's the main rule. No passing. Everybody just follow Kenny in a nice circle. Nice and slow, Kenny. Kenny, nice big circle. Okay, Kenny, come bring them back in. Everybody gather around here. Now, was that a lot better out there with some rules?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Before I send you back on the next obstacle course, I want to talk to you a little bit about some safety rules. One thing I want to talk about is riding on the road is which way do we ride on the road? Right. You always ride on the right-hand side with the traffic. Okay? There's a few reasons, main reason why we do this. If you're riding against the traffic, the cars are not watching for you. Say a car wants to make a right turn onto a street. If you're riding on the wrong side of the road, he's got to make a right turn. He's got to look left. He's not got to look right. And you might be there riding on the wrong side of the road. He's got to make a right turn. He's got to hit right into you. There's another reason. If you're riding on the wrong side of the road, there's another bicycle riding on the right side of the road within the law, and there's nowhere to go because there's cars and that going. We got to collide, right? Well, usually you don't supposed to ride on the sidewalk unless you're real small. But that's the main reason here today, because you kids are getting bigger, and you're starting to get big enough where you can ride on the street. You got to have to learn the traffic laws to get out there and be safe. Another thing, what I find, I've been cycling about 14 years. I ride about 4,000 miles in the summer. And what I found has really saved my life a few times is eye contact. You know guys what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. Not see the car, but I want you to see the driver. What I do when I'm riding on the street, when I come up to a stop sign and there's somebody at a stop sign, I always make eye contact with that person. Not eye contact with that car, but eye contact with the person driving the car. I want you kids to practice this, because it really helps out a lot. And if you can't make eye contact with that person, I want you kids to be ready to stop. Because a lot of times the driver will not see you. Okay? You guys got any questions at all what you learned here, right here? Okay.
A station called Be Seen and Being Seen. And the object of this is for you to learn to watch for hazards in the road, watch for traffic, because cars when they're driving, that must be their leader. Cars when they're driving aren't paying attention to you. They're looking for a street address, they're looking for a store to shop in. So they're not watching you, so you have to watch for them. Okay? Now what we want you to do here is to recognize the changes, little perception changes. Okay? Sarah? Okay. Notice what's different?
Yeah, her hair's
Okay.
down. She let her hair down. She let her hair down, took off the coat and sunglasses.
Good.
Oh, you're smart now.
Okay. All right, Sarah. How about in the street? Different things that are in the street that you should be looking for. It could cause you to crash on your bike. Okay.
Rocks?
Good, good. What else? Bumps, curves. Yeah, good. Okay. Now, all right, what's different now?
She's got a watch on.
Good.
She has her old watch on.
Okay. All right, the things are different, are small. The things on Sarah are small. But what we want you to remember is you even have to watch for the small things. Because sometimes even a small rock in the road will be enough to cause you to crash. Or a car opening, or somebody walking in between the cars. Okay?
Stop. All right, you gotta look for cars. There's cars. Okay. Now you can go. Okay, Mark or Marcy. You have to stop. No, you're going the wrong way now. You're on the wrong side of the street. Okay, now you can go. You have to look both ways for the cars, though. Okay. So you're looking for cars. If you see cars, after the cars are gone, then you can go. Okay. Okay, there you go.
Students will learn to pull up to a stop sign, wait for any pedestrians, and then stop far enough out to see beyond any obstacles. Positioning their pedals for a powerful takeoff, they may then go when there is no conflicting traffic. Why is this important? Cyclists who run stop signs take a big risk. Nationwide, running stop signs is the #1 cause of injury-producing bicycle car crashes and the #3 cause of death of a cyclist. Remember, at a stop sign, stop completely and yield to all cross traffic. You must follow the same rules as when driving a motor vehicle on the road.
Okay, the object of this is to ride between these lines, stand in the lines, and keep. I can't talk. And keep riding with nonstop. And when they pass the people that are standing, they're holding cards with pictures of cars. And when they pass, the person holding the cards will say, "Look." And when the kid passes, they'll say they either have to reply "car" if they see the car, or "no car" if they don't see the car. That's
why they turn it either looking with the brown at them or with the painted side.
Yeah, the painted side is with the car, and then they say car, and then without the car is no car.
What's been the success rate so far, the kids that have gone through it?
No, not really. I don't really think they understand it. Do you guys know what you have to do?
We don't.
Do you know why?
We don't run over those things.
You don't want to run over the rocks. You want to avoid them. And it's teach you how to control your bike on the road and keep it upright and keep your balance. Because if you're on the road and you see a rock, you're going to swerve, and you don't want to swerve suddenly where you swerve into the path of a car. Also, when you swerve suddenly, you can fall. And you don't want to do that. You want to keep your bike upright. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, the object of this station number 8 is to have the kids determine what's coming from behind them as they're going around a road hazard. Okay, as a kid comes up to a road hazard, he's supposed to look over his left shoulder to determine what's coming from behind him. Okay, why don't you go ahead? Why don't you go out there and see how the child looks at a hazard. Okay, what does the child do as he comes to a stop sign? Does he stop? Does he keep going? Okay. As he comes up to another hazard there, as he comes up to that vehicle, he's supposed to stop, look over his left shoulder, and to see if anybody's coming from behind him or if there's anybody coming in the approaching lane. Is the child going to stop, or is he going to go around him? Parents have to be able to work with their kids on that also. You know, go out there, ride with them too, and be able to explain that to them also.
What we're going to do is 12 hazards. And what this is you're supposed to be observing everything that's going on around you when you're riding your bike. This little girl here is riding down the street, and there's 12 things out in front of her, which is about 12 seconds ahead of her, which is how far you're supposed to be observing in advance. And we want to see if you can point out the things that she has to observe so that she won't have an accident. Okay? The car, right. You want to mark a little X here? That man's opening his car door in her way, and if she was to hit that, she'd get injured, right? Now, there's a car passing her over on this side. What if she wanted to go out into traffic and she didn't look behind her to see if that car was coming? She'd get hit. So we want to mark that car. Now down here we have a pothole, and if her tire went in that pothole, she'd fall right over. So you mark the pothole. And what happens when you go through leaves, especially if they're wet? They're kind of slippery, aren't they? You think your bike would slip? Okay. And you see this here? This is a crack in the road. What happens if you hit that crack with your bike tire? Think it would hold on to your bike tire? You'd fall. Okay, let's mark that. Okay, now, what about this here? What's he going to do when you come up? That little dog's going to cross in front of you. Very good. So you want to watch him to see what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Then you have a man walking across the street. What if you didn't see him? Right, so we want to watch him, what he's doing. Now you're coming up to a railroad track, and there's a train coming. You want to watch that train. You don't want to go out in front of him. So let's mark the train. And then we have a railroad track here. Now, if you didn't cross that track straight on like this, and you got into the grooves of the track, that would hold your tire, and you'd end up falling over and getting hurt, wouldn't you? So we want to pay attention that there's a railroad track coming up. You want to mark that. Hey, this is a road grate. Do you remember the road grates that were out here on the course? You weren't supposed to go over those, were you? Because they could have your tire go down in them and get hurt. So let's mark the road grate. Then you have a bike here, or a bike rider coming the wrong way against traffic. He should be riding over here, shouldn't he? So he doesn't know what he's doing, does he? Well, we better watch him.
I'm Officer Bob Kostelnock with the Lincoln Park Police Department, and I'm assigned to the Traffic Safety Division.
Is there a specific age in the city of Lincoln Park where children are not allowed to ride in the street?
Yes, you're supposed to be 12 years old to ride the bicycle in the street, but I guess I'm kind of biased. I would like to tell them 13.
I've seen a lot of bikes that ride right up the middle of the street just like a motorcycle or a car. Where should bikes be when they're in the street?
They should be traveling on the right-hand side of the road as close to the curb as possible, going in the same direction of the traffic flow.
The road signs that are out for cars, are they the same signs that bicyclists have to follow? A stop sign, a yield sign?
Yes. You have to obey all the rules of the road the exact same way as the people driving the cars do. And I know I'll sit on my front porch, and I live by a stop sign, and the bikes just go right through the stop sign. Oftentimes at a four-way stop, one car will pull up to the intersection, look for another car, and he won't see it, and he'll pull out, and that's when the bicycle will be going straight through the stop sign, and that's when your collision occurs.
Should the kids use hand signals, since bikes are generally not equipped with the signals that are on cars?
Yes, they should be learning bicycle hand signals here today. I hope they are, and we suggest that they always use them. That way it'll let the motorists know what's going on, and also the other bicycles in that particular group as to what the front person is doing.
Could you demonstrate those signals for us?
Okay. If you hold your hand straight out, that would mean you're turning left. If you hold it up, kind of on an angle, that would mean you're going to turn right. And if you put it down, that would mean you're going to stop.
Is there ever a time when there should be more than one person on a bicycle?
Well, the bicycle's equipped to handle one person. You naturally have your old bicycles built for two. That's okay for two people. A lot of times mom and dad will have the additional bicycle carrier on the back for the little one, and that's fine as long as it was installed properly. But we never want to see the kids riding double on the bicycle, because bicycles were built for one person, and that's the amount of people that should be on it, just one.
Children believe what their parents tell them. What message would you like to pass along to the parents today?
Probably the first thing is just be aware of what your child's doing out there. Our children are the future, and you have to stay on them. I know I've come to too many accidents, and their parents don't even know where they're at. The accidents happen on the other side of town of where they live. So you have to always, they're only kids, and you have to stay on them. Just be aware of what they're doing and try to work with them and teach them the rules of the road. Be safe on the bicycle, and hopefully we can avoid any accidents that'll happen.
Live long and prosper. or at least live long. These safety items I'm wearing ensure a high degree of visibility for bicycle riders. When there's an accident between a car and a bicyclist, the first thing the driver usually says is, "I didn't see him." I do most of my cycling at night, so for safety's sake, I use a number of safety items in addition to wearing light clothing. These leg bands are not only highly visible, but also can be used for pants clips. This rotating reflector is not only visible at night, but also can be used during the day, as most of the other items can be. But as far as I'm concerned, the number one safety item is the helmet. I myself have been spared a possible concussion even when I was traveling only a few miles an hour because I was wearing a helmet, which you also notice has reflectorized strips. Although I advocate using these items to maintain a high degree of visibility, my main rule of the road is ride as though you are invisible, because to most drivers, you are.
Thank you for watching Scope. Please keep in mind that while bike riding is for most people a recreational pastime, there are still boundaries and rules which must be adhered to in order for all people and vehicles to share roads and pavement. We hope this has prompted questions in your mind and perhaps answered a few you've already thought of. But more importantly than that, we hope everyone has been made more aware of dangers of misinformation and the importance of following the guidelines created to improve our quality of life and longevity.
Our children are totally dependent on us as parents to protect them from the dangers of everyday living. Safety education should not be the total responsibility of the police, the schools, or community groups, although it is convenient that these groups offer education to the public. Education, however, begins at home, and is up to us as parents to take responsibility in educating our children on bicycle safety.
Please let us know what you would like to see covered on future episodes or segments of Scope by dropping us a line at this address. Scope, care of United Cable Television Programming Department, 21170 Allen Road, Woodhaven, Michigan, 48183. We'll answer your letter, and at the end of the program, should we produce a segment based on your thoughts, we'll thank you.